Yellow guys, how are you doing? Welcome back to Rule of Two Review, and today, let's touch a little bit more on Nintendo's online plans. So, no more video of my face today. We're doing some random gameplay, so of course go ahead and enjoy that while I discuss quickly in this video what's going on, possibly, with Nintendo and their online paid service. And this, of course, comes off of the heels of the recent weird kind of thing that happened where Nintendo of Italy actually made a post on their website that seemed to expose a possible release date or release window of the paid online service, and that would be fall 2018. So essentially stating around 1 year from the current time as of the recording of this video, the end of 2018 is when Nintendo's online service might be coming up. Now, this is a tricky scenario because this was only up for a small period of time, and, I mean, within hours it was pulled down, maybe even quicker than that. And through that, everyone started getting all sorts of crazy and saying, oh my god, it looks like it's delayed until the end of 2018. And then, of course, that got pulled back, so now all of us are pointing out, hey, it didn't actually stay up. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe it was a misposting. Maybe it was a hoax or a prank or something played by someone else who even knows. And so it's now kind of reignited the conversation about what Nintendo might be doing with their online service. Now here's the thing, you guys, and I even pointed this out on Twitter with my own tweet. When we look at the possibility of this service launching in 2018, let's pretend for just 1 second that that temporary post or website page going up on Nintendo of Italy's website stating fall 2018. Let's say that that was true and that's an accurate, true thing, and it just went up earlier than it was supposed to for whatever weird, dumb reason made that happen. The thing is, everyone started freaking out about the possibility of, quote, delay for the online service, the complete paid full version of the online service going up. And as I pointed out, we've never even had an official release date anyway. The closest we ever had to a release date specifically from Nintendo was when it was going to launch in 2017, basically within the first year, first couple of months of the Switch's launch. But once that was delayed until 2018 and they released the beta version of the online app and they've allowed the online service to just be free throughout all of 2017, the only thing they'd ever said after that was just 2018. They've only ever said the year 2018. They never gave a date, a month, a window, a season, a quarter of the year, nothing. It was just 2018. So if it was to be announced for fall 2018, that would not count as a delay. As far as I'm concerned, the only way we would actually see something be, quote, delayed would be if Nintendo confirmed 2019 and said, oh, we were going to release in 2018, but it turns out it's still not ready, so instead look forward to it in 2019. So that being said, let's go ahead and move past this whole thing with this weird post going up on Nintendo's website about 2018 and actually discuss the actual possibilities of what Nintendo might be doing behind the scenes with their online service. Of course, we all know the plan right now is for Nintendo to eventually launch their first ever paid online service. They gave us a pricing structure last year. I think it's really fantastic sounding. A full year is only $19.99, which is literally less than what I pay for 3 months of PSN. So as far as what they're doing money-wise, that's great. Kind of makes you wonder or question what the quality of the service is going to be like. Nintendo is definitely not typically known for having outstanding online service quality. This is obviously something that they've been slowly building up to and slowly improving since the Wii days. And you could argue the GameCube days, since there was a modem adapter for the GameCube way back, which I had, by the way. And then, of course, only with the first iteration of the DS did they start to release a couple of online DS games. So Nintendo's been taking a big, long, slow burn to get to this point, and now we finally made to where they feel like they're going to have some service that is appropriate enough for them to ask their consumers to pay a very, very small fee. Admittedly, it's very small, but still asking us to pay a fee to be able to game on their current system online. And I'm cool with this. You know, I mean, I wish it wasn't happening. I've always loved the fact that Nintendo hasn't been charging for online, whereas the competitors have been. But to be fair, I think Nintendo deserves the same ability to do this, considering the fact that that is where the industry is. It is the standard. The competitors are doing it. And at least Nintendo is coming in far below the belt as far as what the other guys are doing. It is easily the most competitive price. So hey, you know what, man? I can give it to them. I just want to see what they're actually trying to do. So we're waiting to see what the service is going to look like once it goes live. We're waiting for information about certain features like fixed voice chat, get rid of the phone app, where's the virtual console, all these other different things. Will the eShop or certain other features, are we going to get apps like Netflix and YouTube added to we've already gotten Hulu? We're waiting for a lot of these things to happen, and a lot of us are assuming there's a good chance that some of that stuff starts to roll out once their complete paid online service comes. And so, for that reason alone, I'm certainly very excited to see what's going to go on here. I'm not like excited to have another freaking service to pay every month or every year, to have another bill to add to the thousands of adult bills I'm already dealing with like in my daily life, including like my own internet bill, for example. Like, I'm not excited for that, but I am excited to see what the final product is going to be. The big question, like I already alluded to, is will their final paid online service somehow lead us to the path of the freaking virtual console, which all of us have been wanting forever? And I certainly don't want to go too deep down that rabbit hole. I've discussed it on one of my more popular videos I've ever made a couple of months ago about the virtual console. I do think that eventually we're either going to get a virtual console, or my other personal theory that they just start throwing classic games on the eShop, no need for a virtual console storefront. And so I think that's going to happen then. And then they have been talking about still offering some sort of retro game program through their online service. Initially, it was going to be like this rotating NES and Super NES games. Like every 30 days, you'd have a game for free that you could play temporarily, or you could buy it once the 30 days ends. And then they changed that, and they said they're going to do something else where you're going to get like a permanent package of games for multiple retro consoles that you can have downloaded for free once you're paying, well, for free, but you can, once you're paying for the service, you'll be able to have those downloaded on your console. And we don't even really know. It's like Nintendo's already changed their mind once on that, and then we still don't even know what the final plan is going to be. And so if we go back to the original kind of thing that kickstarted this whole conversation, are we maybe looking at possibly as late as fall 2018 for this to launch? If that's the case, then I assume that Nintendo's working to fix and change a lot of their initial plan. So in a world where it is the end of 2018 that they're going to launch, I feel like some of the things they might be fixing or restructuring is specifically the retro game program. What are they trying to do there? Are they still trying to offer some weird exclusive like free retro games with the paid online service, or are they going to just abandon that outright because they've already had a couple of ideas that they keep changing their minds on, and maybe they're just going to say we're not going to do this, and maybe instead just give us the virtual console? I think we'd all rather just have a virtual console than whatever weird rotating games they were going to give us. I also think there is a huge chance, while not a lock, so don't take this as me spreading this rumor, guys, this is just my own theory, but I think that there's even a chance that they actually will get rid of this phone app, or at least change its operation to the point where it isn't required for certain online play and it isn't required for voice chat. I really think only in a world where they are going to be releasing it late next year and not in the next 4 or 5 months would I believe that they're making that drastic of a change. If it turns out it's actually going to go live sometime earlier in the year in only a couple of months, maybe that's not the case because there wouldn't be so much time. But hey, I mean, this posting did go up on an official site, so maybe there is something to fall 2018, which means maybe they need that year so that they can totally refix the infrastructure around this weird cell phone app that no one wants and no one likes, and they're taking a lot of those features and moving it to the Switch's OS, and that's supposed to go live once the online service goes up and we're actually starting to pay for it. And I think that, I mean, most of us would probably be happy with that. A, because it would make the service better, and B, because honestly, it's what a lot of us want. And it would also mean that Nintendo's listening. That's something that I think could be a really cool side effect if that happens. So the last point I want to make here is the opposite idea. Let's go move to the opposite end of the spectrum from them releasing in fall next year. Why would they release earlier in the year? I'm actually really hoping that they do that, guys. And the main thing is, I think the earlier into the Switch's life they get this online service up, the better off for them and the better off for the Switch gamer. Because as I've said a couple of times, I don't know that the Switch has more than 4 years in it before Nintendo moves to their next thing. And so if that's the case, and by 2021 this thing is supposed to go away, you don't want to make it halfway through that 4 years. Well, not halfway. Let's say a third of the way through that 4 years. You know, a year and a half or so into the console's life, and that's when you finally launch your online service. No, man, you need to have that available as soon as possible. We're already creeping up on the 1-year anniversary in March. I think that is the ideal time to get this launched. Like, right around that 1-year time, get the online service up and running so that the next couple of years, whether it's 3, 4 years, beyond that, we can have the online service operating for all of the future games coming. Because as of right now, we're just kind of burning space. And I mean, yes, we're not having to pay, and so the longer it's free, the less money we're spending. That's absolutely a great thing. but it might be holding back certain games coming to the system. It might be holding back the quality of the online experience. It might be holding back things like the retro games or the virtual console, things that we all really want. So the earlier, I think, the better for them as a business decision, and the earlier, the better for the gamer if, in fact, the service turns out to be quality and give us some of these things that we're really wanting. So that's where it's kind of a catch-22. The longer it goes, the longer it's free, which is great, but the earlier it comes, the earlier we might get some of the benefits and features that we want from a quality Nintendo online service. We don't want to go halfway through the Switch's life without this service. We want it earlier than later. You know, at least in my opinion. I guess I should say I do, because I'm willing to start spending money for this service if it's worth it once it goes up. We just need to see what's actually going on and find out what their actual plan is going to be. So that's it, man. Those are my thoughts and feelings on what's going on. Interesting little kind of event that kicked this whole thing off with the post going up on the Nintendo of Italy website. What do you guys think about this? I'm sure a lot of us saw this. It was all over Twitter and social media for the last 24 hours, and people had crazy reactions. I did my best to calm people down, which seemed to work for the most part. And now I wanted to take it into this conversation and just speculate further about what Nintendo might be doing with their online service, beyond just the fact that this weird post made this whole thing get all nuts on us. So, yeah, what do you guys think? What are you expecting? What are you waiting for? When do you think we'll see it? Do you think there's any truth to what happened, or do you think it was just a weird mistake that doesn't mean anything? You guys tell me below your thoughts. Share what you think is going on here. And that is it for me today. Thanks as always for tuning in, guys. This is Rob of Rule of Two Review, and I'll catch you next time on another video.